Coming your way from Fort Myers, Florida, Jim Bartles along with Dick Bremer, TV announcer for the Minnesota Twins for, gosh, how many years now, Dick?
This will be number 33.
All right, you're still young, though.
I started when I was 7 years old.
Okay, very good. So Dick's with us. I always like to catch both Dick Bremer and Corey Provis because I think the announcers get a pretty good insight of what's going on with the Twins team down here in Fort Myers. Dick, let's get started. Biggest storylines for the Twins here in spring training. What are they? How are they rolling out?
Well, I think individually, the focus, as it's been for the last few years, is going to be center field. I think the starting pitching is going to be competitive. A lot of people are concerned about the bullpen, and I'm not one of those people. I think when you've got Perkins and Jepson and May and Feen and a couple of other guys, maybe Nolasco, I think the bullpen is going to be fine. I think the infield is pretty set, but I think there's still, here we are, a week and a half from opening day now as we're doing this interview, and I'm not sure that Byron Buxton has won the center field job yet. That's still going to be a focus for the Twins this year, I think.
When I talked to Terry Ryan and asked him about the outfield, he said, we hope it's set, but we're not sure yet about center.
Well, you look at what, let's assume that Byron Buxton is the center fielder, and you have Eddie Rosario in left and Miguel Sano in right. None of those three were with the team on opening day last year, so it's very likely, I think, that on opening day in Baltimore, we'll have a completely new outfield out there.
Dick, where are the Twins strong this year, and where are they deep? I'd like to see what you think.
Well, they've bolstered the catching depth. John Ryan Murphy, at least at the start of the year, is going to back up Kurt Suzuki, and I think the hope is that he will hit well enough, handle the pitching staff well enough to maybe supplant Suzuki in the second half of the year. That remains to be seen. That was a point of emphasis, I know, in the offseason to try to get better receiving behind the plate. But as we said a moment ago, Jim, the infield's pretty well set. The story so far to me has been everybody's been healthy. Even the pitchers have been healthy. But you're looking at an infield of Mauer at first, Dozier at second, Escobar at short, Plouffe at third, so I don't think anybody's too concerned about that, but it is interesting to note, the shortstop position's been kind of a black hole for the Twins. Just looking at it yesterday, getting ready for a broadcast, Escobar, assuming he's the opening day shortstop in Baltimore, will be the 10th different starting shortstop the Twins have had in the last 12 years. So the hope is that he can play well, and maybe we don't have to worry about shortstop for a while.
Are the Twins thin anywhere?
The saying in baseball has always been you never have enough pitching, but I think that they are deep enough in the starting rotation where that shouldn't be a concern. And maybe that's where the concern is with the bullpen, the depth of the bullpen. Now, there are some young guys who throw very hard who the Twins are counting on down the road, but if something were to happen to May or Perkins or Jepson, some of the big late inning guys the Twins are counting on, I don't know that they have a lot of experience to try to pin down that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning if injuries become a problem.
Dick Bremer, our guest, as we come your way from Fort Myers. Tom Kelly Field right behind us here in infield where they do some warm-ups on a very beautiful Fort Myers morning. Who's having the best camp this year from what you see? Who's really standing out in camp, Dick?
Well, I think one of the guys that's made an impression here, although the stats wouldn't necessarily bear it out, is Max Kepler. I think Twins fans have heard about Kepler for quite some time. He had, in the minor leagues, granted, but maybe a breakout season last year, and he's made a very positive impression here in camp this year. That's the thing that I think Twins fans appreciated about what happened last year. Is we got a glimpse of Sano and Buxton and Rosario, some of these guys that we'd heard about. The most encouraging thing for Twins fans, there's another wave coming. And we mentioned some of the relief pitchers that might make an appearance over the course of the year that should be with the Twins for quite some time, Nick Birdie and some others. But then you've got Jose Barrios, a starting pitcher who's going to be a really good pitcher in the big leagues. And you've got some other guys like Kepler, who should have an impact maybe as soon as this year. So I would single out Max Kepler, although he very likely won't make the team coming out of spring training, as opening some eyes and making a very strong impression.
Certainly Young-Ho Park has had a strong performance.
Yeah, and that was, and will be, for the first half of the year, something to watch to see how he transitions from the quality of baseball in Korea to the big leagues over here. And the assumption has been that it will take a while. But what we have seen so far here in spring training is he seems very at ease, very comfortable, and he seems to have made the transition so far rather well. He's hit some home runs, he's had competitive at-bats, and he's fit in well. And so that's encouraging, but again, it doesn't really start counting until we get to April.
We have talked, a year ago, we talked a little bit about Sano. Well, he made the impression last year, but offensively at least, he's just taken right off again this spring. Defensively, got a little work to do.
Yeah, and it's going to be a work in progress. You know, I'm sure Twins fans are hesitant to be on board with an unproven major leaguer, which is what Miguel is. He doesn't have a full year in yet. An unproven major leaguer trying to learn a position at this level. But that's what the Twins are going to be dealing with Sano in right field. He's worked very hard. He seems to have aptitude, if that's the right word, the ability to be told things once, react to it, learn from the mistakes, and he's made some mistakes down here in the field. But the hope is that he is athletic enough to make that transition smoothly.
Dick Bremer, our guest, occasionally a radio broadcaster for the Minnesota Twins, but also TV broadcaster for 33 years. We're going to take a break. When we come back, a few things to talk to Dick about. Going to ask about how we fit in the division this year. Also, a little bit about what his prediction might be for a record. Last year he said we'd do pretty good to have a 500 record. We'll get his comments this year. We'll be back right after this.